Oh, there we are. We are live. And here I am looking smart with my readers on. I'm filling out some paperwork for the Boy Scouts. And wow, I had a hard time seeing the dang form. Don't they know that most people are going to be old trying to fill these things in? I don't have time for this. Hey, folks, my name is Kurt Von Annen. You are at the Mañana Nomás morning check-in. Today is Thursday, June 24th, 2021. And I am absolutely thrilled to have you here. If you're following along on YouTube and you're catching this live, you're getting the notifications, fantastic. If you're watching this as a replay, I would strongly encourage you to go to YouTube, subscribe, like, share, all those things that people ask you to do all the time. Because quite honestly, I'm desperate. I need some followers and subscribers so that I can start to have access to some other tools inside of YouTube and do more to add value to the people that listen. I haven't said this in a while, so I'm going to kind of blurt this out. While I am the founder and owner of Mañana No Mas, while I have an online academy that teaches continuous, adult learning, continuous improvement, I'm a certified leadership speaker, trainer, and coach. That is not what this channel is really about. It is what it's about, but it's not for me to actively sell to you. I want to make sure that that's clear. I do this for a couple of different reasons. One, I love community and I want to be connected to the community, and I want to do something that's value added for people that choose to be a part of this community. So that's one. Two, I honestly believe it helps keep me sharp. I think that by jumping on and doing these lives on a routine basis, by checking in with you on a near daily basis, and I say near daily because I've missed a couple, right? But on a near daily basis, to be able to jump in and communicate and have a live message go out, I think it really works to help keep me sharp on my tools. So I thank you for giving me the inspiration to keep doing this. And lastly, there are people above and beyond the general scope of the community, right? So there's the community in general that I'm here to add value to. But there are some very select few that have reached out to me through social media, through messaging, through direct email, that have said, man, what you said really made an impact on my life. What you said here, here, and here has really helped with A, B, and C. And we've even had some people say that, it's been the difference as to whether they've been inspired to continue working on their marriage or not. Believe it or not, things of that scale. So to me, it's really, really important that we continue to forge forward, we continue to grow these communities, and that we just work together to make each other better, right? Now, I say that, and some people think it's crystals and pyramids and lefty talk and all this stuff that you want to put into categories, and it's not that, right? I really believe that we can celebrate each other's diversity, our opinions. Some of the things that might divide other groups might be some of the things that bring this group closer together. So I'm kind of hoping that as a community, we can really dive after this. And I'll tell you where the inspiration for me to say that just came from. I just met with a lady on Zoom, tremendous lady. In fact, she's probably going to be the Mañana No Mas LinkedIn member of the day, right? For those of you that know that, I repost these lives onto the LinkedIn feed. Her name was Nancy Johnson. She spells Nancy weird, right? So Nancee, Nancy Johnson. And she's a digital marketer. She's in the digital marketing space. Really good communicator. I enjoyed speaking to her. Our meeting went way longer than it should have. And that's not a complaint. That's a good thing. It means that this is somebody who I want to communicate with, right? If I had a business in the Washington area that was looking for digital marketing consulting work, this is somebody I'd want to communicate with. So this was all good stuff. But one of the things she talked about was trying to promote, live events, right? Live sporting events, especially. So I think about, and I can't help but, everything's about me, right? So I think about the San Diego Century, the Bike the Coast, the Pacific Coast 100, I think it was called, was one that I had done. I think about these rides. I think about the velocity team rides I used to do every Saturday with the race team, with Team Velocity, 35 miles, every Saturday morning I would do with these guys, 1,300 feet of climb, 18-mile-an-hour average. I'm thinking about all these things, right? That failed to continue when COVID did its thing. And so, a lot of events got postponed or canceled, but now we have events that are beginning to come back. And what I'm seeing anecdotally, because I didn't do the time to actually research the subject matter before speaking today, but what I'm seeing anecdotally, and also while talking to Nancy, was that people are reluctant to sign up for things based on date. And so maybe I'm asking this as a question, maybe I'm asking your opinion, maybe I am, fluffing these thoughts on my own. But I think 18 months of doing things remote, of doing things via Zoom, of being able to, in the sports world, here we go, here's my phone, right? Doing things in the sports world where I can go for a 60-mile ride, share it on Strava, and 50 people jump on and give me kudos and tell me, great job, right? So did that culture shift, did that happen over the last 18 months? Did that affect the idea of getting the t-shirt and the medal from doing a century ride and doing that with 4,000 of your new best friends? I don't know. I do know that people that have been putting events together, like speaking events, bicycling events, I'd really love to get in touch with the guy that runs, the Spartan events, because I did Spartan races for a while. I would like to know what they're seeing, data wise for, the amount of ad spend, the amount of impressions, and the amount of reservations or sales to do the events. My gut tells me that we're seeing people have a hesitancy to sign up for things, physical locations on specific dates. Okay. Now I'm going to change the conversation. I had a meeting scheduled today with someone who failed to make the meeting. Great guy. I'm not upset. In fact, I did it to him on Tuesday. He did it to me today. So that's okay. But he was actually at a physical location meeting and then struggled to get from the physical location meeting to our scheduled Zoom call, right? Because he was in a different environment, didn't have a strong Wi-Fi, couldn't connect. I mean, all these things, right? So now we're transitioning professionally. We're transitioning from this unique environment where we're in a hybrid environment. We have some meetings where we're going to go to personally, and we have some meetings that have already been scheduled via Zoom. Here's the danger with this. If we don't create enough padding in our schedules, we're going to end up overlapping, right? Meaning, if you don't have enough padding in your schedule to get from a physical location to a known good Wi-Fi source to hold your meeting, you're going to miss your meeting because you didn't have enough padding built in there. So a lot of us using automatic schedulers like Calendly and stuff like that, maybe we need to start looking at, the padding settings that are for those meetings and go, you know what, instead of a 15-minute padding, I'm going to need a 45-minute padding on all of these Calendly scheduled meetings for Zoom calls, because I might not be able to get from a scheduled physical meeting to an effective Wi-Fi signal to make the Zoom meeting, right? Now, if you're like me, sometimes I'm using the whiteboard in my Zoom meetings. Sometimes I'm meeting with customers and I'm drawing out ideas for websites or membership flow or e-commerce flow. And sometimes I need something that I can use as a visual cue in these meetings. So it's not like I can just schedule a meeting somewhere physically, somewhere on the other side of town, and then magically show up at a Starbucks and run my meeting on Zoom and think that I'm going to be fine, right? In my particular situation, I need the tools within my environment to be able to be effective. Now, a bunch of you are probably going, well, you could just use two screens, or you could tether a tablet and then do a whiteboard meeting and share the tablet with the computer. And there's a ton of technical ways to do this. But I think if we're talking wholesale community, wholesale everybody, I think we're going to start running into some conflicts between remote, virtual, and on-site. And so it's just some of the things that I'm starting to see as my business also transitions between working with the different areas. Now, here's a little known secret. Maybe it's not so little known. I do a lot with power sports dealers, right? And I try to work with motorcycle dealerships to show them how to increase their parts and labor sales. And so if I'm out traveling or I'm shaking hands or meeting people at a dealership, I may have training sessions that I've scheduled, right? And so I'm looking at using different kinds of routers and different kinds of, boosted cell signals and stuff like that to host these live consulting meetings. And I'll tell you, it's happened a couple of times, especially when I was in Texas. I was at a place, I think it was called Fairfield Lake. It was near Corsicana, and the signal was horrible. In fact, the only place I could find a decent signal was at a diner in town, right? Couldn't find it at the campsite, not a good signal at the hotel, but the diner had a good signal. And so I ran a couple of meetings from the corner of a diner, but that's not the same as having your workspace and a whiteboard and giving people the experience that, quite honestly, they signed up for. And so these are things that I want us all to be able to begin to embrace, consider, and strategize for how, as a widespread community, we're going to address this. So just a concern for the day, and not a negative at all, right? We're still on silver linings to clouds and opportunities within obstacles, right? Because here's the deal. The obstacle is we have to find a way to transition from a solely remote virtual experience to a blended experience. And so if we look at that, the benefit is, I'm a hugger. So I might want to hug people, shake hands, fist bump, high five. I like that. I like that tactile experience, right? And so that's great for me. But the thing is I just need to keep in mind, I need to be proactive, right? And strategize this blended experience to how some people might not want to be in that physical environment. In fact, the other part of this blended experience that I didn't cover yet in this particular session, this call, is we need to start considering what a blended experience is. Now, I did this when I was leading a small group at church, so I'm familiar with it from this perspective. But from a business perspective, we need to get used to the idea that we may have a live, tactile, high five and handshake and fist bump and meeting, but it might be a blended meeting in that we have gotten used to people being remote, and some people vaccinated, unvaccinated, high risk, not high risk, kids are sick, a spouse is sick, showing flu-like symptoms, so can't come into the office. There's all of these things that are going to be residual effects. And because we did virtual and remote for so long, it's not that people are going to take sick days. They're going to say, I'm going to have to work from home today. My husband's showing flu-like symptoms, right? And so these blended live events will be like, we'll have to have a webcam and a monitor available so that people that are not on site can still participate as if they were on site. And I know that sounds confusing, but I did that with a small group working at the church. And I'm very familiar with having a group of 10 people sit in front of me, tactile, in a room, right? Boom, and have 8 more people online that we're still communicating with and treating as if they're in the room, but they're really on screen. And so it's unique because when we did that, we actually didn't really suffer that much through it. It became a normal thing, right? And the opportunity within the obstacle is that for those that wanted the tactile experience, we were available. For those that wanted the perceived safety of being virtual, we were available. And the opportunity within the obstacle is we made ourselves available. From a business perspective, how much more will your business have the potential to grow or survive proactively if you have the perception to your audience that you are available? Man, I think today is a hit. I'm glad I recorded this. I'm going to share it on LinkedIn. And of course, all of the replays are available in the video diary on mañananomas.com. Folks, if you're not already in mañananomas.com, if you're not signed up for the weekly mail that we send out with value-added material, I encourage you to do so. I'm not spamming the crud out of people. I was doing a daily message. I moved it back to once a week to try and respect people's time more. And like I said, I'm not actively selling you on something, but if you think I do a good job of communicating leadership, communication theories, if you believe I might add value to you from an HR perspective to work with your staff on communication and leadership, folks, I would love for you to reach out to me and see how I can plug into your environment and help you make headway in that way. All right. Have yourself a great day.